Welcome back to the Boneyard Podcast, everybody. This is your host, Jared Shaffett, along with my good friend.
Artemis Brower.
We're coming to you this week with episode 258 of the Boneyard Podcast. Jesus!
Maybe 258. We've
What?
had some,
I hit go live and my shit just went dark.
Jared might just go incognito at any point during this podcast.
If I just drop.
Just drop. You just go completely blank. You do have your laptop plugged up, right? Like
It's
we got
plugged.
to charge. All right.
Look, this thing is plugged up. We're charging. We got the mic in. We got the internet in. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's the 250 gigabytes worth of audio files that I have stored on this laptop.
You probably need to delete some of that.
I do. We need people to go buy some more Roback so we can afford a nice hard drive to store this stuff on.
Yeah.
In that case, go buy Roback. Go to roback.com. Use Boneyard20 for 20% off your first order. Roback.com. Boneyard20, 20% off. Artie, episode 258 of the Boneyard Podcast. You got a 58 for me?
I do have a 58 very quickly, and this is one that nobody would ever guess. This is the very first person to ever wear the number 58 in NBA history. This happened last season. That is one Jack McVeigh, the Australian-born basketball player, played for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, wore the number 58, was literally the first person ever in NBA history to wear 58. I don't think he ever actually played any – well, he did play minutes. He played for the Houston Rockets. I think he maybe played sparingly. He was in the NBA for maybe 2 seconds. He's back in Australia. He's playing National League ball for his home country. But he is the first and only player to wear the number 58 in the NBA. So shout out Jack McVeigh.
Nice. I'm going – I had a couple guys I could pick from. You know me. I like the obscure hockey guys, Artie, especially if they played for the Carolina Hurricanes. Funny enough, this guy only played for the Hurricanes for 15 games, and those were the only 15 games he's ever worn the number 58. None other than Finnish defenseman Jani Hakanpää. 290 games played, 15 goals, 30 assists.
That's kind of funny though.
Hakanpää?
Jani Hakanpää.
Yeah, he's already this guy 6'7", 225 pounds.
Sounds like he's from Deutschland.
He is from Finland. I think I already called that out. He's Finnish. But yeah, that's mine. Jani Hakanpää. All right, since my shit closed on me earlier, who's got the notes pulled up? I'm still trying to get my shit together.
I got you, brother. Hold on. Are we doing around ECU?
Let's do around ECU real quickly. There's a little bit to talk about with soccer, volleyball, and cross country. I'll let you lead it off.
All right. So around ECU, we're gonna start with ECU soccer very quickly. 4-4-3. Going into halftime, the Pirates and Owls oiled the knees and finished the game 2-2. So it was a tie against the Temple Owls, the last game they played. Pirates are home again next Thursday to face Temple once again. So it is going to be a whiteout game. So support these ladies as they do the whiteout. But ECU soccer kind of middle of the pack, trotting along. Like I said, 4-4-3, not the best, not the worst. Hopefully they can pick it up and get going here soon. ECU volleyball. Me and Josh were talking about this before we got on. 9-6, 1-3 at home, 2-0 away, 3-4 neutral site, or I guess 4-2. Excuse me. 2-0 home, 3-4 away, 4-2 neutral. So much better just at a neutral playing field than they are away. But volleyball's looking good, 9-6. Hopefully they can pick it up. Conference play is not too good. They're 1-3 in conference play, so not looking too good in conference play. But hopefully they can pick it up here soon. And then cross country, I do not want to butcher this girl's name, but I'm going to try this. Abrielle Schweitzer. And I know I probably butchered that.
No, I think that's right.
Abrielle Schweitzer. But this young lady for the Pirates earned her first career individual win at the Dill Family Foundation Invitational on Friday at Overton's Lakes Invitational. So shout out to her. I think it was the first time in 6 years we had an individual winner in cross country. So shout out to her. And that is all I got for around ECU.
Real quickly, Artie, before we move to football, it was announced today. ECU picked up. Am I correct in thinking this? Josh, is this our first number 4, our first 4-star recruit ever? In
it could be. It could be. I'm not sure if it's been confirmed yet, but I mean, he's a 90 overall prospect.
Draylon Creasy, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Number 7 prospect in Virginia, announced his commitment to East Carolina and Mike Schwartz today. I mean, had offers from Mississippi State, Oklahoma State, Texas A&M, and Virginia Tech. Radford is also in there. I mean, decent. ECU getting a big-time recruit. So love to see that. All right, Artie, we're going to talk a little bit of football. We're behind on the show this week, but bye week, not much to talk about with the bye week. Sounds like we've got some guys that are coming healthy. Got a big-time matchup this week. The American Conference, the American Conference is loaded right now. Let's talk about the American and kind of where everything sits right now. I mean, you've got North Texas, Memphis kind of running the show, still undefeated. Memphis, first team in the country that is bowl eligible with being 6-0. North Texas 5-0. But don't look now. You got Tulane and South Florida, both pushing at it. South Florida and Memphis are in the top 25. This conference looks legit.
You didn't even mention the number 1 team in the conference.
Who? Navy?
Yeah.
Nate.
I'm just saying, who's sitting at number 1? All those teams that you mentioned, who is the number 1?
Just because they've played more conference games, they're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna make the conference.
So they're 3-0 conference and they're 5-0 right now. I'm just saying, if you're gonna mention all these other teams, mention the number 1 team in the conference. Right?
They haven't played anybody.
They played 3 teams in the American.
Yeah, but still, they haven't played anybody.
I think Navy's exactly what they want to be, undefeated, and nobody gives a damn about them.
Yeah, because nobody does give a damn about them right now.
Navy team. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, what do you think about like the depth of this conference right now? And we don't need to even talk about like the bottom feeders, like just the top end of this conference can compete. I won't say with the SEC or Big Ten. Top end of the conference, but the top end of the conference, outside of maybe Miami, can compete with any school from the Big 12 and ACC right now.
I wouldn't say any school in the Big 12. I think Texas Tech will have their way with anybody in this conference.
I think it'd be a shootout.
I would say that the top of the Big 12 is still a lot better than the top of the American, but the top of the Big 12 is like 4 teams, I think. I think everybody else is, definitely a crapshoot. The ACC is a little different. I think, obviously, Miami. I think Virginia's for real. You got Georgia Tech. So, like, the top of the ACC still, like, if they were in the American, they would have their way with any team in the American, I think. But as far as G5, as far as, like, who should be the representative for that, that 12th spot in the playoff, that 5th conference champion, yeah, I think the American is absolutely far and away the best conference outside of any other G5 conference. And I just hope that we don't cannibalize ourselves and that the winner of the American has 2 or 3 losses, right? So
unfortunately, I think that's probably what's going to be the case.
And if that is the case, then I could see a situation where the American gets screwed out of getting it.
I think that the most likely scenario is you have a 1 or 2 loss. You're probably gonna have a 2-loss American Conference champ, unless I don't know that Memphis can run the table and win the whole thing. But
you look at the top of the American, and it's legit. It's legit with at least 5 legitimate contenders that can win this conference.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a conference. I mean, I would put this conference right there in the Power Five again. I mean, I think the top end, and when you look at it across all sports, this is the best G6 conference there is. And we're looking at it. There's a lot of big time games, a lot of big time football being played in the American Conference this weekend. I mean, you look at this game Thursday night, ECU Tulane could have conference championship, might have college football playoff implications, right?
Yep.
You could look at that UNT USF game on Friday night down in Denton.
That's the biggest one in the conference. North Texas USF right now is the biggest one in the conference.
I got a hot take. I don't think it's that big. I don't think that.
You don't think either one of those teams plays for a conference championship?
I think USF does. I'm not fully sold on.
Because USF has to beat North Texas if they want it.
I think that happens. I think that happens.
To me, it's without question the biggest game in this conference this weekend. There's no bigger game in this conference than that game this weekend.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. I would say like
you've got an undefeated North Texas squad, and USF is ranked. I'm pretty sure South Florida is back in the AP poll, sitting at 4-1 with their only loss to Miami. That is the most important game in the conference so far.
Yeah. I don't know. I still feel like there's more heat around our game. There's a lot riding on Tulane to win this game.
Tulane would still have a chance if they lose.
No, they will not. You have
a snowball's chance in hell.
What's that?
Tulane will still have a chance if they lose. They only have one loss in conference. They can still run the table and make a conference championship.
Yeah, but I don't think that we're talking college football playoff. I don't think North Texas is going to be in the college football playoff.
That's irrelevant if they run the table.
I don't think they're running the table.
So if they beat South Florida this weekend and they sitting at 6-0, you're telling me they can't win every game left on their schedule when they have played probably the best team left on their schedule?
Like I said, I don't think they're beating South Florida this weekend. But
if they
I mean,
South Florida, who else?
Their schedule down the stretch is, if they win this game, yeah, they should go 12-0.
So they should go 12-0, right? So this is the most important game in the conference so far, because if they beat South Florida, then likely North Texas is in the driver's seat to get to the college football playoff.
The committee still looks at strength of schedule, and that strength of schedule and that strength of record, like that, their resume isn't going to be that great.
Be out there in the G5 to compete with them if they're an undefeated conference champion.
I mean, you look at if Tulane has one loss, Memphis has.
Tulane, you're gonna put a non-conference champion Tulane over a conference undefeated champion.
I mean, you could very well see Tulane and North Texas in the conference championship. I'm saying regular season, North Texas is 12-0. They lose in the conference championship. Tulane's in.
Tulane will have to win the conference championship game.
Yeah, whoever wins the American is going to be right. Whoever wins is going to be the guy. They're going to be the team. The outsider's chance, if we do see the cannibalization that I'm worried we'll see in this conference, Old Dominion is sitting right there.
Old Dominion is yes, and Old Dominion definitely does.
That's going to piss me off. Old Dominion gets it. I'm going to be livid. Shout out to the
I agree.
Monarchists.
I think South Florida will beat North Texas. However, if that doesn't happen and North Texas runs the table, they absolutely control their destiny to get to a playoffs. Absolutely.
All right. Well, I don't know. It's gonna be fun. It's fun to see big time football and football that matters being played in the American Conference. So, Artie, I see that we've got our good friend, longtime friend of the podcast, waiting in the wing. Should we go ahead and bring him in?
Let's do it.
All right. Longtime friend of the podcast, Corey Glore. Welcome to the Boneyard podcast. Welcome back, my friend. How's it going?
Fellas, great to see you again. It must be ECU Tulane week in some kind of sport because here I am with you again.
Hey, you are welcome anytime you want to be on the podcast.
What are we doing next week?
Next week,
we've seen Tulsa. I can help you out with Tulsa.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have you on with the Golden Hurricane guys.
Absolutely. That would be fun.
Doing
I've
American
not had
Conference
any interaction with them. They don't like me. I've never met them. So yeah, if you want me to crash, then I can explain how we annihilated them 2 weeks ago. We can.
Definitely down. Let's do it.
And I think I do side with Jared. I caught the tail end of that. Oh, well, actually, no, I think I actually sided with Artie on this one. But the fact of the matter is, whoever wins the American Conference Championship game is going to the playoff.
Right.
Bar none. Yeah. Even you mentioned Old Dominion. They won't. Yes, they might have a case to make if they run the table. UNLV is the only other team that will have that case as well to make in the Mountain West. But this league is different this year than it is last year with what the non-conference slate has already shown from. I mean, you're really looking at, however you want to coin Power Four, and what you think of Power Four. There's already 6 of those wins in non-conference in the American. That's more than the ACC has. And so this league's already solidified itself as it's honestly the 4th best league in the nation right now, but it is the 5th for the playoff committee. The winner of that championship game is going to the playoff. And that might be North Texas, because you're right. After Friday, that schedule is very nice for the Mean Green. And there's usually a team in this league that gets the benefit of a really soft schedule that pushes their way to a conference championship game. 3 years ago, Tulane was the benefiter of that. 2 years ago was SMU, and last year was Army. And so now, like, North Texas is now in position to be that if they can get through South Florida. And even if they don't get through South Florida, you're still looking at a potential 7-1, and that will still put them in the mix come end of November, when all the other teams at the top here, or what we think are at the top, are going to be beating each other up.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of where I stand. I just look at it. I don't know that they win this game. Like,
I don't either. I've been impressed with a lot of what I've seen from South Florida. I think the fact, I know they've been the center of a lot of the AP poll is very frustrating conversation over the last few weeks, and now they're back in the poll. I think they're honestly back in the poll because of what Florida did in beating Texas, and that put South Florida back in there, not necessarily what they did to Charlotte. They're a very, very good team. I'm not totally sold on South Florida just yet. This would be a good get for them, seeing an air raid team like this and a fast team like this. But they've been impressive. I think this would get me across the finish line. And I think South Florida goes to Memphis too this year. I might have that wrong. I know Memphis pretty much hosts the contenders this year. South Florida's look good. This game to me Friday will tell me a lot more about them than maybe it will tell me about North Texas.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I think South Florida has more to win, more to gain from this game than North Texas. But I think whoever wins this game probably has the inside track.
in the driver's
but
seat.
yeah, Memphis, they got to go through the gauntlet. And
well, they go through the gauntlet, but they have it all at home because we go there in the first week of November. They do have South Florida the week before
they
at
got to come
home.
into Rowdy Dowdy.
They do have to go to ECU, and listen, I think you got 7 teams in the league right now that you could actually make a case of why they will be in the discussion end of November, and East Carolina is one of them. And so Memphis does have the benefit of having the big hitters at home, and so that's why
That's true.
I still actually think they have the inside track to everything right now. But I mean, a winner on Friday is not buckling a seatbelt, but they're pulling it. And so, but again, this league has, last year, Memphis was in the mix until they lost to UTSA for some reason. And then they fell out. Like that will happen somewhere. And this will get called down a little bit. But I think this league, the top half of it, is in a much stronger position than even last year or the years when Cincinnati and Houston were running the show here. This is a different feel to the top half of this league this year. And even Army has a pellet on their wall with Kansas State this year, and Tulsa has one when they fired Mike Gundy. And so, like, even further down the list, you're seeing stuff change a little bit here in the American.
Yeah, which I love to see. I'm happy to see that it after the 4 left, this conference has continued to do what it's done, right? New faces, but it's the same thing. But Corey, we're not here to fully talk about the American Conference. We're here to talk ECU Tulane. I gotta say, before we get into it, we met Coach Summerall, and maybe we should have Josh come on. We met Coach Summerall at American Conference Media Days, and he was the best discussion that we've ever had with a coach, just very personable. Talk to me about Coach Summerall and his time now at Tulane, being there now that he's been there a couple years.
It's a dream to work with, I'll tell you that. And I was very fortunate when I got here, and Willie Fritz was of the same cloth. John Summerall, I knew I was in with him when, after a game last year, and I go down the locker room after games to do interviews for our post-game show, and I record with Coach first, then I get players and all that stuff. And it was after a win. I think it was a pretty comfortable win last year. I want to say it was homecoming against Temple. Not important. I'm not good at telling stories. But he came up to me. He's like, "What's up, cuz?" And I'm from the Midwest. And so I've not been called that ever as a term of endearment. Usually that's my mom's side of the family, and I have 30 cousins. And so that's kind of where that comes from. But then I realized he's an Alabama boy, and that is a term of friendship and endearment for folks down in this neck of the woods. And it was oh, wow. It took me aback a little bit. And so now maybe he was just high on a huge win. I'm not sure. But we get along great. And the guy that you interacted with, and I remember you reached out to me after that, Jared, and he said, I just talked to John Summerall and he was great. That's him. That is him as just a human being. And so that, combined with he's a pretty damn good ball coach, has created a pretty nice environment here at Tulane, where 2 years ago when Fritz left for Houston, there was a real fear here of, we suddenly just had this leap on the football side of things here at Tulane that hasn't been seen arguably ever, but certainly since 1998 when they went undefeated that year. And the fan base here is this is going to go away. And now to get John Summerall in here, have another run to a conference championship game last year, and be in the same mold this year with a lot of time to go. It's hard for there to be a transition to go as well as this one did here, especially with where Tulane is in the grand scheme of college football, what teams in this league are at, and the fact that half a new roster had to be built to head into this year. And now here they are still. Tulane is, very much still in the conversation about in this league and in this country as one of the better teams in the nation. And so that's hard to pull off, but John Summerall has been able to do that.
Yeah. And I kind of want to continue with the John Summerall conversation, because if you guys achieve what you expect to achieve at Tulane, right, and the success continues, what real odds do you give at Coach Summerall staying at Tulane, or do you think he would jump like Fritz did?
I mean, it took Fritz 8 years to get to Houston, and it was back-to-back really good years that finally got him that opportunity. You know, I don't think it's a surprise to anyone that John Summerall is already at the top of people's lists for the jobs that are currently going to be open. So in terms of the odds of keeping him, you know, there is an underlying worry about that here. There's no doubt about that. I also think there would be an understanding of the fact that Tulane was able to hire John Summerall away from Troy when he was in the discussion for SEC jobs that year in 2023. I think there's already kind of if he's only going to be here for a short amount of time, it's going to be a really good amount of time. And that's not where people are yet here, because again, that's very early in this season. But if this goes down the trajectory of what Tulane football is capable of doing this year, and this becomes more of a real possibility, then it's going to be tricky. I know that the support from the university and now from where everything is situated to fund this program, both revenue sharing and NIL wise, is a full buy-in. It's not at the Memphis level. It's not at the South Florida level in this league, but it's very, very strong, and the push has been huge to make it stronger. And so they're already putting things in place to make their pitch if they need to make their pitch to keep him around come December or January, because the transfer portal window just moved as of today to January. So maybe that delays things a little bit. But what people are doing here is, say he entertains Arkansas. Like he's Alabama kid, SEC is in his blood. He played at Kentucky. Like, we're not lost to that possibility here. If Tulane can't put things together that will be enough to keep John Summerall after this year, they're at least going to be in a position where they're putting things in place so that whomever comes in has the same chance that Coach Summerall did to keep this successful.
Yeah. And right now, I mean, if John Summerall leaves, the Tulane job is one of the most will be one of the most sought after jobs in the G6, G5, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be looked at as, hey, the last two guys have gotten decent P5, P4 jobs, and Willie Fritz and John Summerall.
I know, jobs are flying open every week right now here, and maybe it's because of my proximity to Tulane here. But again, say this happens, the Tulane position, in my mind, is a better opening than with where UCLA is right now, and the financial distress that the entire athletic department is in. Same with Stanford when that opens, when they are done with their interim coach this year. You can make a case that right now, investment wise, Tulane's in a slightly better spot than Oklahoma State, and so you can weigh that, but you also, for a good change that happened today with the portal moving to January, you also have the constant drumbeat about who will be participating in a playoff in next year, and all that stuff. And so the access to that, how strong is that? And then you look at a 5-year plan and what, been very noticeable that Virginia Tech is trying to put a lot of money together to change where they are, and they have a job opening. So it's stuff like that where you have to weigh. It's not as simple as UCLA is a Big Ten job. Well, it is. It's a very, very hard job that has a lot of hurdles right now. Is that better than what Tulane would be if this job goes open here? I would have my doubts. So it's a little bit trickier than just, wow, Power 4 jobs open. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a better opportunity.
No, I agree. Now, Corey, getting into this game, getting into Tulane, ECU fans, when they saw Jake Retzlaff was transferring out of BYU, they were like, "Oh, thank God, we don't have to play Jake Retzlaff this year, and then at least we don't have, or at least if we're going to play him, we're going to play him at home. Now he's transferred out. He's transferred to Tulane. Now we're going to play him on the road. Talk to me about Jake and the impact he's had on the Green Wave early on this year.
It's been decently impressive, I would say, for a guy that showed up July 22nd and had to speed run his way through not just what the playbook is, but also through a quarterback competition. He was not the number one guy until midway through camp when his competitor for the job, Brendan Sullivan, got injured. I mean, it was, and Coach Summerall's been very clear about this even to this day, because Sullivan is healthy and will play in this game Thursday. But had Sullivan not injured his ankle midway through camp, he was going to be the starter week one. This was not being handed to Jake Retzlaff at all. The injury then put it on his shoulders, and he performed great the rest of camp, and that's why he's the guy. What he's done so far is he's added a little bit of a dimension to this offense that I don't think this coaching staff thought they would get out of him specifically. And that's his running ability. He moved a little bit at BYU, and Tulane knew that he had the capability of doing it. But for him to be the team's leading rusher and one of the top rushers in the conference and have 7 rushing touchdowns, that's a new element that I've talked to Jake about this. I don't even think he knew he would be doing that just yet here, because he's already eclipsed what he's done at BYU on the ground. And so that's given this offense a little bit of a different dimension from what they had last year and what they maybe even anticipated having if Retzlaff was going to be the guy this year. If this was going to be part of the Tulane offense, Brendan Sullivan would have been the guy doing it. He is the better mobile quarterback of the two, but it's been Retzlaff doing it. What that has allowed Tulane to do is keep things moving downhill offensively, despite the fact that the last hurdle for Retzlaff to climb over here has been an inconsistent passing attack. Like, he's only got 2 passing touchdowns. He hasn't had one since week 2, and he hasn't found a wide receiver for a passing touchdown. And this isn't all on him. The wide receiving group is not the biggest group in the world. There's no real go up and get it one-on-one threat here for this team. They're a deep team in that room, and they have a lot of versatility, but they haven't shown a big play threat yet. And so that has not, I think, jived quite with Jake Retzlaff yet, who has had trouble. When he's had trouble throwing the ball, it's having the feel of the ball, and the touch throws have been the thing for him. He's throwing fastballs a lot. And so that has still been a missing link here. And I think Tulane's hoping that a week off allows that to get in sync a little bit. It's going to be tricky against this particular team on Thursday to get that on the level with what the East Carolina corners are and the size that they possess, as well as just how aggressive the front is for the Pirates. And so we'll see if that happens Thursday. That's the missing link here for Retzlaff, is to get back on time with his receivers.
Yeah, just to kind of add on to that, because that ECU defense has been very aggressive to start the season. Been pretty good. Not great, but been pretty good to start the season. What does Tulane have to do successfully early and often to sustain success throughout the game?
Oh, it's interesting because ECU is going to be the 4th straight opponent Tulane has seen in which their offense is up tempo. Even Tulsa 2 weeks ago, they're a run first team, but they run at a pace top 15 in the nation. I know ECU's top 10, but Tulsa is not far behind, but they kind of go in reverse of how East Carolina wants to run offense. But then the week before, Ole Miss, and you're talking about John David Baker here, and Tulane saw Ole Miss a few weeks ago. Ole Miss has changed a little bit about what they do because of the mobility of Trinidad Chambliss at quarterback now, and that tore Tulane alive back in week 4. But even the week before that, and Duke, that's another that's top 20 in pace, that offense there, and that's Darian Mensah. And now Tulane knew him very well, and they exploited his weaknesses of not wanting to get out of the pocket. They made him get out of the pocket and throw on the run because they knew he didn't want to move with the ball himself. I've been asked a lot about, does that Ole Miss game help with this here and seeing East Carolina? And there's no doubt it doesn't hurt to see an Ole Miss offense a couple weeks ago and now see East Carolina and that protege here. I actually think seeing Duke helps a little bit more because that's a little bit more in line with how East Carolina plays offense. Big shot plays in the vertical passing game for a quarterback that can move but would prefer to not. And so that I think is fascinating here for Tulane. If they can find a way to break through this offensive line that has only allowed 4 sacks this year, then they will make East Carolina uncomfortable. They want to stop everyone from running the ball. East Carolina has struggled running the ball, and so I think they're more than content with just taking shots here because Tulane will want them to take shots. Can that front four, which had a great game against Tulsa, get through to Hauser when no one's been able to so far? To me, that's the first step. And then Tulane will want to set the running game going. And that's ECU's strength defensively is stopping the running game. The Duke defense is as aggressive as East Carolina's defense is, and that's Manny Diaz, and he just sends everyone to the backfield. What Tulane did to them was the read option, and that's where Jake Rutzloff's running ability became the weapon of that game, and that opened up some downfield passing. I get the sense that is going to be the hope that Tulane offensively will try and do early on here on ECU. If the Pirates are going to start bringing the house like they tend to do, then disguising their run looks is going to be what they're going to, I would think, try and do early on in this one.
Yeah. Great synopsis. I mean, I guess we don't even need to...
Did we just check all the boxes here? Do we have anything else to talk about?
This is the portion of the show where when we have Corey on, we start just talking about food. Taco Bell. No, I mean, that's perfect analysis. And the one thing that I'd say is that there's a metric out there with like ECU right now on being like top 10, top 15 on quarterback pressure when they're not bringing a blitz, when they just rush 4. So that's going to be interesting. This front, I said it last week. The things that we thought we were going to be concerned with coming into this year are actually have been the things that ECU's like had as a strength. I mean, talking about the defense, everybody was questioning it during the summer. Talking about the offensive line, we've been questioning the offensive line since Corey Glore was in the press box at East Carolina. Like we've been questioning ECU's offensive line for that long, and now look at them, look where they're at. I think this is an interesting matchup, and it's one that ECU has looked to. Tulane's had our number. New coach at ECU, albeit he's been there at ECU. They've seen him. Talk to me about what maybe Tulane's doing to prepare for ECU and the new coaching staff.
Well, I can tell you this. You met Coach Summerall. He says what he means. He is not he's not glancing over this one. Like he doesn't really know Blake Harrell that well. He does have a connection with John David Baker because they both were Ole Miss coaches at some point. But this will be his first experience seeing Coach Harrell. When he has watched ECU on tape, like he got to watch the Army game before our game against Tulsa, and he watched the BYU game and NC State because that was a Thursday nighter. Obviously, I've combed through all the film here. He sees a team that is as athletically gifted and fast as anyone in this league. And you mentioned like the concerns you had about ECU heading in, the defensive pressure and the offensive line. That comes from just having better athletes. And that is what East Carolina has been able to bring in this year is they have quickness in the trenches. And that's, they're really good at getting in to the backfield with just their front four. That comes from speed up front, and just the gifted nature that now this front has athletically is different from East Carolina teams in the past. And so I think there's actually been a little bit of a kind of education process to our fans here heading into this game about that, because this is not a similar this is not a Mike Houston looking East Carolina team. That they're a bigger team, they're a longer team, they're a faster team where they can run this high tempo offense, but still have one of the best defenses scoring wise in the nation right now. Like that, there's something different about the makeup here of this roster, and that's why this is not lost on John Summerall. And he has not seen his team play a full 60-minute game yet. There have been way too many penalties from this team during the course of the year. They have had trouble closing out fourth quarters in a couple of their wins this year. South Alabama is the primary example of that in week 2, but they let Duke get back in a little bit in week 3. He's still waiting for everything to fully set into place here, and he's hoping this off week will do that because he knows with what the Pirates are good at doing, they'll get exposed if they don't put it together. And so this is a real, like, it's not a lip service thing that he's talking about here when he talks about what he sees from East Carolina. He sees a team that is up there with his defensive line, and he loves his defensive line. They'll put 13 out there during the course of Thursday's game, and they won't miss a beat, or they shouldn't miss a beat with what they do up front. He sees a team in East Carolina that has that type of athletic talent. He sees an East Carolina team that has Memphis-level talent in the trenches and South Florida-level talent in the trenches and, Navy offensive line. Like that sort of stuff is what he's equating this to. So this is not like he's very much setting his guys into focus here about what the challenge is about to be Thursday.
And I also want to ask you this: Thursday night, right? Sports Center will be in town. Games on ESPN. What kind of atmosphere are we getting in New Orleans on Thursday?
Could be a good one. It's not going to be sold out, I can tell you that. Now, the Duke game was sold out, and that was one of the best environments that I've experienced in my time calling games here. Certainly one of the best regular season environments I've experienced in that stadium. The students have been awesome over the last couple of years of latching onto what's happening here. And so that coupled with, the Sports Center is in the heart of campus. It's setting up right in the middle of campus. You're not going to be able to miss it when you're walking around going to class. And so that's going to create energy for the student body. And then that student section should be more than filled out. In terms of the tickets out for this game, it's been okay so far from what I've heard. There's still plenty out there. I think everything lining up, this is my hope, lining up with the fact that it's going to be a beautiful night for the game here on Thursday as well. We're talking about around 80 at kickoff with very little humidity, hopefully. That should, I think, create a late surge to get people out here for the game on Thursday, because this has been kind of pushed from a lot of people here about the importance of this game. And now that, it's a school night, but the weather's going to be fine. I would hope that would bring more people out to come check out this game.
Yep.
Love that. Love that. Now, conversely to Artie's question earlier, what does ECU really need to do? Like, if they're going to do one thing Thursday night to win this football game, what's that one thing that they do that exposes John Summerall's Green Wave?
So it's a good question, and I would say we talked about how Tulane wants to take away everyone's running game, make them one-dimensional. And that one dimension is what ECU is very good at. So the Tulane secondary has some decent numbers in it. They've got a fair, what's the number of interceptions that they got here on the year? I got my diabolical chart from it. 6 interceptions, 3 of them from Javion White, who's the nickel. We call him the spear here. He has been awesome, but he'll be everywhere in the field. Joker Johnson, one of the corners, has 2 of them.
What a name.
His real name's Jaheim, and I did ask him last week why the nickname Joker, and he said someone started calling me that in 8th grade, and he didn't know why, but it's stuck. So sometimes nicknames don't have a fun backstory. Sometimes they're just you're Joker now. I'll say that the Tulane secondary at times can get caught looking the backfield a little bit too much. They have been burned a few times this year. It happened in Tulsa, which got caught. I mean, they were swarming Baylor Hayes, the Tulsa quarterback. They made life miserable on him, but a quick third down, he was rolling off to the left, and Tulane had a safety crash up and had their edge rusher, their bandit, which is a linebacker, but always on the line. He was actually dropped back in coverage on a tight end. Tight end slipped behind him, and he thought he had the safety back there to help him, but he went straight to the quarterback, and it resulted in a 72-yard touchdown, which should have never happened. There have been some of these moments from the Tulane secondary. And so if Tulane cannot get the pressure with the front four and make Hauser uncomfortable, give him less time and a shorter pocket to work with, then the big play threats of East Carolina start to have a little bit of an advantage here. And so that I think is it here. So I guess long answer long, that offensive line holding up and giving Hauser the time for how little time he needs to get downfield to Smith or Spalding or whoever is down there. If he's got time to work, then these ECU receivers have a shot of getting open on this secondary because they do get caught from time to time.
Love it. Well, Corey, we can't let you go without asking you for what have you been eating lately? What's on the menu recently? Taco Bell. I know Taco Bell. Beautiful.
I mean, they brought back the Cool Ranch Doritos Locos Taco. Yep. I mean, that speaks to me as my high school age. So I do have a couple of Greenville friends coming into in for the game. They're staying with me and staying through the weekend, and they've been down here before. They were down here when ECU last played a baseball series down here, so not this past spring, but the one before. And I took them to my favorite restaurant in the city. It's called Katie's. It's a free ad. They're not a partner of ours. I want them to be, but they're not in downtown. They're in a house in the middle of a neighborhood that I live in. It's called Mid City, about 10 minutes outside of downtown. Best charger oysters in the city, best muffalata in the city. Incredible pasta dish with like Cajun shrimp. They have redfish on special constantly with like crawfish sauce on top. It's exquisite. And I took them there last 2 springs ago. And when I was catching up with them last week just to set plans, so like we will be going to Katie's, correct? And so like if fans are coming in for the game, Katie's in Mid City, go check it out. Like you will not be wrong. It is your quintessential New Orleans neighborhood restaurant. Like it's in a house in the middle of houses all around it. You would never really understand why our restaurant's there. But those are the places that just make this place pop. If you want some finer dining, but want the same environment, Clancy's, which is not far from Tulane campus. That's if you're willing to fork over quite a bit on your bill. But that's, again, it's a dimly lit house in the middle of the neighborhood with just houses all around. A great bar. It's got 3 levels to it, but they're all really tight and intimate. The menu is handwritten in cursive. Like and I had trout there for the first time ever, and it changed my life. And so like stuff like that, we got stuff to appeal to every taste. I'll leave you with this one, or I'll leave this question with this one. If you want something slightly not New Orleans, there is a New Jersey deli called Francolini's. It's about 10 minutes from campus, between campus and downtown. Chicken cutlet sandwiches that are out of this world good. And so if you want like that for lunch before the game on Thursday, do that. Francolini's on Chapatulas Avenue.
Love it.
Now we're talking. Corey, thank you again for joining us on the Boneyard podcast. Hey, if you want to crash next week, you got my number. Let me know. I'll send you the link.
Yeah. I want to make life living hell in the Golden Hurricane guys, even though I've never met them. Like
we just won't tell them. We just won't tell them that it's happening.
Just have Corey show up. Just go off.
I'll tell you, I think fans here, and it's probably the same in East Carolina, felt that way in my time there. But with this conference, and let alone just the changing and who's been involved in the conference here, but just how lack of regional the conference has been for a lot of its existence. Yeah. A lot of fans here have been trying to figure out who's Tulane's rival. And they usually default to Memphis at this point, and certainly football and basketball. Baseball, they'd probably say East Carolina. But Tulane and Tulsa have been like a pretty heated, tight rivalry for like 15, 20 years. And so there is a little bit of that's bred here. I don't think fans think of it, but I would love to stoke those flames just a little bit more just for the hell of it next week.
And make you already played them and got the dub. So
yeah, like we already roundhouse kicked them. And so like what can they do to say anything behind that? And then it would make things really awkward for you guys next week, which is even cooler.
Hey, you know us. We are not afraid of any awkwardness.
We'll take it on
the podcast. Now, I'll say, I'm an advocate for more college football trophies. I mean, we've got colored like natural disasters and like weather and whatnot. Green wave, golden hurt.
Multicolored weather phenomenon or multicolored H2O. Yeah.
There we go. Like, surely we could get a trophy made.
I don't know what it would. I mean, because both of our mascots are terrifying. When you take the actual mascots themselves, like we have a pelican that walks around called Riptide, and then they have their really yoked tornado. And so like Gusty, I think is his name. And so it would be a mutant trophy, but I'm down to create that there. Does ECU have a trophy with Charlotte yet? Because I feel like that's got to happen.
We've been saying on the Boneyard podcast for 3 years, like a golden nugget in like a treasure chest.
But yeah, I like it, but the 49 their Niners nickname is not actually a gold rush.
No.
Like it's not like there was a gold rush in Charlotte. It was like they had the spirit of the gold rushers in California, and that's why they're named that. So
but like he's dressed as like a 49er, like Norm.
It should just be like a plate of Eastern barbecue and a plate of Western barbecue.
Now, do not get me started because I'm gonna piss off a bunch of hours. You know me, Corey. I'm a Lexington born and bred kid. Like I'm gonna ride or die with my Lexington barbecue.
I think there's space for both. I like both because I lived in Winston-Salem and I lived in Greenville, and I like both.
I'll say you're not gonna find good barbecue in Charlotte. You gotta come up 52, 85. It's all.
If you want authentic Carolina barbecue, you got to go up there. I remember, I forget the name of it. When I was last in Charlotte, I got taken to a barbecue joint that was pretty good. I forget where it was. That's not a good story at all. When do I go back there? I think it's basketball. I'll try and find it. But I found a place that wasn't bad.
Let me know when you're in town. We'll meet
but it
up.
Wasn't like the sit in a wooden bench and you could like hear the pig being slaughtered behind you. It wasn't one. It was like a modern place. It was like one of those places.
Love that. No,
yeah.
My place has always been Speedy's in Lexington, and they've had to move. I thought things were going to go downhill for them. Luckily, they haven't. Barbecue Festival coming up 2 or 3 weeks from now, so looking forward to that. I can tell barbecue all day. I don't know, man. ECU, Charlotte. I feel like for it to be a rivalry, you have to at least both teams have to have had a win.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll get that here in about 3 weeks. So, Corey,
yeah.
Corey, appreciate you, and we'll brainstorm what we can do next week. All right.
Well, it was a pleasure, kids. Thank you.
All right. See you, man. Bye. Once again, Corey Glore, longtime friend of the podcast. Always love talking to him.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
The weather phenomena, sponsored by the Weather Channel. That game should be played on the Weather Channel. Tulsa Tulane.
Tulsa Tulane. Yeah.
On the Weather Channel. The play-by-play is Jim Cantori.
Yes, this is gotta have Cantori on the play-by-play for sure.
Just getting blown around. There's just like a 200 mile per hour fan going.
That's fantastic.
I'm telling you, the American needs to hire us to do their marketing. We can figure it out.
We can absolutely figure it out. It's about fun, man. It's sports at the end of the day. Let's have some fun with it.
Somebody get Tim on the phone. Josh, call up Tim. What'd you think, Artie? How are we feeling going into Tulane Thursday
Oh
night?
man, I mean, this is the biggest, quote unquote, non P4 game we've had all season. Because outside of our, BYU and State, we dominated, right? Like we've absolutely dominated in those other 3 games. This is going to be a real test. Being at New Orleans, at Tulane, John Summerall is absolutely going to have his team ready. They're going to play their best football. ECU has to come out and play mistake-free football. Cannot have a lot of turnovers. Cannot have a lot of penalties. Cannot have a lot of self-inflicted wounds. If we're going to stay competitive and give ourselves a chance to win this football game, it's going to have to be the best football game ECU has probably played all season to this point. In terms of, because Tulane understands what they want to do as well. They know they're good enough to win a conference championship. They're not going to be overlooking ECU. This is not a trap game for Tulane. They're not overlooking ECU. ECU's got to come out and play their best football. But I feel okay. I wouldn't say I feel bad. I wouldn't say I feel good. I'm right in the middle. I feel okay.
This feels like one of those games where, on paper, I think ECU loses.
On paper, yes. If things fall the way things maybe could fall, ECU will have a chance. And I like what he mentioned about the one-dimensional aspect, because ECU does not have a good rushing attack. We haven't established that through 5 games all season. And I don't think we're going to establish it on Thursday night. But if we can get some stuff over the top, if we can do enough in the run game to have just something respectable to where Anthony and Yannick and Brock can kind of do what they do, then yeah, we will absolutely have a chance.
I am cautiously optimistic for this game. Josh, what's up?
I did just want to note one thing about how we can win this game. John Summerall is undefeated when his football team out rushes the other team. I mean, yeah, hopefully we can make something happen through the air, but just off of that fact alone,
from a defensive standpoint,
I'm just not sure.
But is that last year and this year, or is that just this year?
That's his whole career.
Yeah.
Okay. That's his entire coaching career as a head coach.
Wow.
36 wins.
Wow. I think
that's a good nugget.
And it's crazy because it's two schools.
If they have 185 rush yards to our 184, they're going to win the football game.
I'm just saying. Now they aren't leaders in rushing anywhere like that, but it's just a matter of when they can control the ground game better than the other team. That has been a key to success for a John Summerall defense.
If there's one thing I have confidence though in this defense is stopping the run. There's one thing I have confidence about in this defense.
You got to hit Jake Retzlaff, and you got to hit him early. I mean, this man has rushed for 368 yards. He leads the team in rushing, has the most rushes. I mean, I guess that happens when you're a quarterback sometimes. But, 58 carries the next guy is 50 carries as a running back. I mean, they've ran the ball 207 times to passing it 145 times. This is a team that they're going to try to run the ball. And when they do, they've got guys that, they've put up yards, but they're not anything that's like a world beater. If you can stop Jake Retzlaff on the ground, you're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna make them one-dimensional.
And I don't know what to make of the stat that Retzlaff has been sacked 6 times, TCU's 4, but how much of that is he thinks he's going to get out of the pocket, thinks he's going to make the run, and they just classify it as a sack, at that point. I don't know how many of those are in there, but that stat to me, if ECU can get him in the backfield when it's a passing play, like its offensive line just can't hold up, the receivers can't get open, which I think our DBs are locked in for this one. I think our secondary is going to be pretty good on this one.
I mean, you do that and you clean up some of the boneheaded decisions. in the red zone.
I was about to say the red zone turnovers. We can't even have one red zone turnover. That has got to be 0. That because that's going to lose you this game.
I don't know, man.
We have to convert in the red zone.
Yeah.
128th in the country on red zone conversions. We got to convert.
Think where we would be.
Making 4 or 5 red zone trips, at least 3 of those got to be touchdowns. So
just think where we would be if we were, 80th in the country in that.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of moving the football. It's a matter of putting it in the end zone.
All right. What's next? We got walk the plank. Y'all want to do walk the plank next?
Let's do it.
Let's see. Anybody got to walk the plank?
I feel like I had a walk the plank, and I'm drawing a blank, and I feel like I did have one.
Can I say, I hate to be this guy again. Like I hate to be the guy that is telling people when and how and what it should look like when you rush the field. We had a couple field rushings this past weekend. I'm going to start off in Boone. While we rush in the field when you beat an 0-5 Oregon State.
They rushed the field to Oregon State?
Yeah.
They won the ball game. That's what matters.
Why are we rushing the field?
App's a better pro. They should be more proud of that.
Yeah, well, they claimed that it was because they were excited that they won in the fourth quarter. I was like, don't you win every game in the fourth quarter unless you go to overtime?
I don't know. Yeah,
I know it's hard to do some of that math up there in Boone, but maybe lay off the devil's lettuce up there, y'all. Another one, UCLA. That was the slowest field storm that I've ever seen in my life. I mean, all 7 fans were on the field. I feel like if you're gonna rush the field, you have to have at least 10,000 going or 5,000 in the stadium.
To be fair, they are doing outside of this past Saturday. They're not doing the Rose Bowl any justice. I mean, you're playing in one of the most historic venues in all of the country, not just football, just one of the most historic venues out there, and just not doing it any justice whatsoever. Just not.
It doesn't even look the same.
They got to put up the big banisters because they can't. Obviously they can't sell a 100,000 seat stadium. There's not going to be. They can't sell a 50,000.
I'm telling you, college football right now is just not going to work in Southern California, not in LA.
I have a hot take for you, fellas.
What's that?
Wallace Wade Stadium is a more significant stadium than the Rose Bowl.
In terms of what?
History.
How?
If it wasn't for Wallace Wade at Duke University, the Rose Bowl would not have been a contiguous timeline of bowl games. The Wallace Wade served as the replacement site for the Rose Bowl for one season to ensure the safety of the Rose Bowl. And without that,
I forget about that.
Rose Bowl history just isn't Rose Bowl history.
So it helps save what the Rose Bowl is, but it's not
exactly
significant.
Exactly.
The Rose Bowl.
If that Rose Bowl doesn't happen, does the Rose Bowl even continue and go back to California?
Was the Rose Parade in Durham?
I don't know if they had the parade. I don't know if they had the parade in Durham, but
the Dogwood Parade.
Stop.
I'll allow the conversation, but I'm not going to agree with you. Like, I could see where you're going, but I disagree.
I mean, it helps save what the Rose Bowl is and the how it is today, but like it's not more important than the actual Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California.
I'm just saying.
Anybody else got any walk the planks? I got a couple. I could rattle a couple off if y'all don't have any.
Go ahead. I don't think I have any.
The Tampa Bay Lightning Florida Panthers game the other night. Did y'all see what happened in this game?
It's preseason, right?
Yes, preseason.
Who cares?
13 ejections, over 312 minutes of penalty minutes. We had a guy that got thrown out of the game, and he came back in. Didn't realize he was fully thrown out of the game. Didn't realize he had a game misconduct. Came back in, assisted on a goal. Like somehow he made it back on the ice. Assisted on a goal. 7 minutes later, they had to go back and take that goal off the board and then assess another penalty to the team. At the end of the game, there was, I think, 3 players on the Florida Panthers bench and maybe 4 players on the Tampa Bay Lightning bench. It was an absolute gong show. You got guys that are already suspended to start the season, like 4 or 5 games from it. I mean, just fights everywhere. People like dirty hits everywhere. Like it was an absolute beaut to watch. It's not even a walk the plank, but I just wanted to call it out that it was like an absolute gong show. Go watch the highlights.
That's crazy.
Next, whatever that play was at the end when Trevor Lawrence ran in the end zone last night, that was just atrocious.
His lineman stepped on him. He got stepped on.
Who was the linebacker? Who's the linebacker for the Chiefs, though? He just didn't do anything.
Oh, Chris Jones?
Chris Jones, yeah.
Literally their best defensive player that they pay like $200 million to. Yeah.
Just watch it all happen.
Yeah. To his credit, it looked like he thought like he was down, like Trevor Lawrence was like down and the play was over. And
you got to play through the whistle.
Get back up and start running. He was like, you know what? I'm not getting this guy anyway. So whatever. No excuses though. You get paid too much money. You're the best defensive player on the field. Don't try to make a play.
The Arizona Cardinals.
Oh,
yes. That is an excellent walk to play.
That
was going to be my next one.
That was such a Looney Tunes ass ending to that game.
No. Wait. I've got to lay out each one though.
There's multiple. Yeah, there's multiple things.
One on the running back. Was it going to have like a 79-yard touchdown wiped off the board because you can't let go of the ball before you actually score the touchdown?
Why is this so hard? It happens every year, every other year.
It's nauseating.
It's the second time this season.
It's right. Second time this season. Like literally second time in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Why is this? How hard is it?
Like just score the damn football. Just score.
Drop it anywhere else in the stadium except on the 1 yard line.
But walk the plank to the head coach for how he addressed the player afterwards.
I'm fine with it. I'll allow it.
No,
I honestly don't mind it. He should now truthfully, had he
do that in private.
Had he ran up on somebody else like that, he might have got his head taken off.
Grown man to grown man, don't come to me like that.
Don't come to me like that. Right. Don't
like grown man to grown man. That's a walk the plank that you would do that at that moment, right? Like you don't have enough self-awareness.
Every right to be that pissed off.
Right. I'm not saying don't be pissed off.
When I first saw it, I didn't even think it was really a punch. It looked just kind of like a shoulder shove to me.
Yeah, it looked like he slapped him in the chest or punched him in the chest or something like that.
Which I mean, I see that all the time. You know, like, hey, get your head in the game. Like, come on. But maybe there's a different angle that I haven't seen. It didn't look like he punched him in the chest.
He's also got to understand there's not a man in that locker room he can take. Not a one.
But also the other thing to me is like at that point it's a level of respect. It's a level of respect of like, if I'm going to be on this team as a player and you're going to be the head coach, like there's a level of respect now that I'm just not going to have. Like it's just so many layers to
because you have the authority to put your hands on me.
Right, exactly.
We also only see what happened in that short clip. I'm sure look, I've been in heated conversations. I've been in heated moments where I've said or I've done things that in that moment I didn't mean, and I regretted it instantly. But in that moment, I had to walk away and then come back after having a second and saying like, "Hey, I know I shouldn't have done that." We don't get to see that side of it.
Sure.
Right? Like, no, you can't do that. But like we don't get to see that side of it. And I know, I mean, being around football players, coaches, now some of them are real dicks. They are. But I feel like in this day and age with the modern era of coaching, a lot of these guys realize like, hey, like I got heated. I'm sorry. Like I shouldn't do that. Like talking to the athlete, maybe I'm wrong, but I like to at least give the benefit of the doubt.
I would say, look, at the end of the day, it is football. This ain't ballerina. Yeah. It's football. They're two grown men, and they need to be able to come together and have a grown man conversation and hash it out. At the end of the day, because there's you still got what umpteen games to play. You're gonna have to nip this in the bud and keep it going.
Artie has seen me almost come to blows with one of our best friends. I don't know how many times.
Yeah.
Like one of my best friends, I would do anything in the world for him. I have given the shirt off my back for one of these guys. And there's been times where I have wanted to kill one of them. And it came close to us beating the crap out of each other. And things were said. It happens. So we've all been there. Maybe we haven't. Maybe I'm just an asshole.
Maybe you are just an asshole, Jerry.
But
I've done it with Artie. Me and Artie have had conversations like that.
Yeah, we have.
But then lastly, the interception turned into a fumble, turned into a miscellaneous touchdown. You just can't let that happen. You get the interception, and if my memory's correct, you caught it in the end zone. And you should have just downed it to get the touchback, but you didn't. You ran it out, and then you fumbled the ball. But then you fumble it backwards behind you. None of your teammates can get it because they were celebrating already, basically. And then the offense gets on it in the end zone for the miscellaneous touchdown. So, yeah.
Is that what it goes down as a miscellaneous touchdown?
I'm pretty sure it's miscellaneous.
Yeah, it can't be
at that point. Who's on offense?
Yeah, exactly. That's the point. Like who was the offending team? And
what happens?
Is that now two forced fumbles on the same play? Like, is that? Like,
yes. I would hate to be like the statistician that's up top. That's like having to put everything down. I don't know what you actually call them, assistant to SID or whatever. Like sitting in the press box, hearing them say, "Okay, pass right, all right, fumble or intercepted 6 at the goal line, taken back to the 24. He's hit by 17, fumbled at the 27, picked up by 32, rushed back to the end zone, touchdown for a 68-yard fumble recovery." That would be absolute insanity. Listening to them talk behind us, but also the guy like pressing on the buttons. Half the time the machine doesn't work. This is the machine. This is the computer. This is the system that is telling ESPN what to show on the ESPN app. Basically, half the time it doesn't work. They're having to go in and redo things. The thing might just blow up. Dowdy Ficklin, the press box in Dowdy Ficklin Stadium might just burn down. We might be back in the double wide in the sky 3 weeks later.
Good old double wide in the sky.
All right. That's enough walk the plank. Gambling corner.
All right. Got 4 games on the slate. Nice and easy. We got Navy taking a road trip to Philadelphia to play Army, though. They are the road favorite, 9.5 points, minus 325. Temple plus 260, 9.5 point dog. 54.5 is the over under. I've got to go Temple, man. Temple's gonna crash the party today,
All right.
this weekend, and the over.
Man,
I like Temple's head coach. He's a Jersey guy. I like that. I like that.
That guy looks like he's from the mafia, allegedly.
well, it is Philadelphia.
What he wore to media day was very much. I've got money, and you can't really ask me any questions.
Got the collar open.
Don't run up
got
on
the gold chain.
Type of stuff.
Looks like his family's owned an Italian restaurant for the last 4 generations.
Every time he walks in, he has a table at the back, straight in the back.
Yeah.
Look, y'all gonna stop playing with Navy. All right, they not gonna lose to Temple, man. I'm sorry, they're not losing to Temple. They're not gonna win the conference. They're gonna lose to better competition. They're not losing to Temple, man. They're not losing to Temple in front of their 5 fans. It's not gonna happen. Give me Navy. Give me Navy to cover as well, and give me the under.
Temple
I don't know.
In defense in the conference, so that's what I'm saying.
I don't give a damn. Win this game.
Temple they've had a sneaky good season. I mean, they're 3-2.
They got the same record as ECU, but it's not the same record as ECU.
Yeah, but their 2 losses are their 2 losses are also to P4 teams. The only difference is both of those teams were ranked. One being Georgia Tech, and then the other being Oklahoma, right? I mean, we're not comparing NC State and BYU to Oklahoma and Georgia Tech right now.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Who they beat?
They've beaten UMass. Not crazy.
The worst in FBS.
What's that?
UMass, literally dead last in FBS. The worst.
All right, you can make the case for Coastal Carolina to be that too.
No. UMass is without doubt the worst.
Yeah, but Coastal Carolina is not far away from it.
That's fair. That's fair.
They beat Howard 55-7. Very similar to.
Okay.
What? Is Temple our doppelganger?
Temple is basically us. Yeah.
And then now they did beat UTSA 27-21, and UTSA has some cheeks.
Okay, so maybe Temple's our doppelganger. Maybe I was wrong. However,
Navy hasn't played a single soul. Navy.
I said what I said.
Navy has their wins are VMI, UAB, Tulsa. Honestly, Air Force gave them the biggest scare, 34-31. Air Force is 1-4. Rice also not like a slouch. They're 3-2. They lost by 8. And Artie, Navy has played one road game this year, and that came at Tulsa. Now, I'm not saying that Temple is a crazy road environment.
Temple has dominated bad teams. They lost to the only 2 good teams on the schedule, albeit very good teams.
But I'm not convinced that Navy is a world beater right now.
Not at all. Navy's not winning this conference. Like I said, Navy's going to lose.
I don't know.
They're not winning the game.
When I was talking about them earlier, you said, "Oh well," or my lack of talking about them earlier, you said, "Oh well, you're forgetting the number 1 team in the conference." No, I wasn't forgetting.
They're the number 1 team in the conference right now as we sit here.
They're 3-0, and they played the 3 bottom teams in the conference.
2025, they're the number 1 team in the conference. Now, will they be that way next week? I don't know, but I do know they're number 1 right now.
Artie, they've literally played 3 of the bottom 4 teams in the conference at this point, as their only 3 conference opponents.
You got to be who's on your schedule.
Make your pick.
So Artie's going Navy.
Going Navy.
And to cover?
You're going Navy to cover.
I'm going Navy to cover. You'll beat the brakes off Temple.
And the over, I guess. That's what you're saying.
No, I'm picking the under. Yeah, I'm taking the under.
Jesus Christ.
It's just Navy Temple, man. This game's not even that big of a damn deal.
No, it's the fact of the matter, Artie. I just, All right. I am going to take Navy to win. I'm going to take Temple to cover. And I'm also going to take the over.
Alrighty.
What was the 50? Yeah, I'm taking the over on that.
Next game on the list, the regional game, NC State, the Darlings of North Carolina, plus 1,100 on the road, 22.5 point dog. To Notre Dame.
I saw
unranked, might I add, Notre Dame.
I saw something today of some NC State fan trying to convince themselves that they were going to win this game. And it was the most pitiful thing that I've seen in quite some time. When NC State has finally given up and finally like given up on the season, when they go back to saying they go from saying, "Oh, we've got a chance at the college football playoff," to saying, "Hey, at least we beat East Carolina in week 1." That's when you know the everything shifted in Raleigh. I'll go ahead and take this one. Notre Dame wins. 22.5 is a lot to cover. So I'm going to say NC State covers, and I feel like I got to take the under there.
Yeah, look, Notre Dame has literally only lost to Miami and Texas A&M, and they lost to Texas A&M at the last second at the gun. This is going to be a splattering. This is not going to be that close of a game. It's just not. Notre Dame's going to blow NC State. Now, I'm not going to disrespect NC State that much. I do think State covers barely, but I do think they cover. But yeah, Notre Dame, give me the over, but State covers.
I'm going to have to go with Notre Dame also to win. My thing is, Notre Dame only put up 28 against Boise State. Now they put up 56 on Arkansas, 56 on Purdue, 40 Texas A&M. So who knows what the offense is going to do? They'll play to their competition. So NC State is going to cover for sure, but the over is probably going to hit. Next game on the list, we got number 7 in the country, Indiana. Are they real? Plus 235, 7.5 point dog on the road to number 3, Oregon, minus 290. Over under 55.5. Will this game be at noon? I'm not sure, but it should be.
This game is not at noon.
This is a night game. I thought this was a night game.
No, it's a 3:30 kick.
Oh, so 3:30.
Oh, is this the CBS one?
This is CBS.
Okay.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
The big noon kickoff is Ohio State, Illinois.
Ohio State always playing at noon.
Yeah, I'll be pissed honestly if I'm Ohio State. I'm out here the defending national champions, number 1, and I'm always playing at noon. Now they did have a night game last week, but they ain't playing nobody. They played Minnesota. Yeah, I'll go ahead and take this one.
Can I ask a stupid question real quick?
Go ahead.
If they do big noon kickoff at, let's say, USC.
It's 9 o'clock there. Is it still?
Is it a 9 o'clock kick?
It is a 9 o'clock kick. Yes.
That is brutal. That is not what college football is.
Yeah, you got to go off East Coast times.
That is the most. If you want to talk about like who's the alpha and who's the beta of time zones, that is just telling you West Coast, you're the beta.
East is going to be East Coast times, bro. The stock market is in New York City. It's going to be East Coast times, bro.
That is what? At 9 o'clock. What time do you start tailgating? 2? Do you go to sleep?
That's a West Coast problem, man. That's a West Coast problem.
I mean, I guess the only schools that it would possibly happen at is Washington. I don't see it happening anywhere else. So wild. Did we lose Josh?
I think we lost Josh. We did. Yeah. Hopefully he's coming back.
All right. Number 7, Indiana. At number 3, Oregon. Oregon is 7.5 point favorites, minus 290 on the money line. Over under is 55.5. Artie, what say you?
Yeah, look, everything is pointing towards Oregon. They look like a legit national championship contender. Dan Lanning is obviously one of the best coaches in college football. But I don't care. I just don't care. I like Kurt Signetti. I like Indiana. Oregon having to beat Penn State in double overtime in Happy Valley, and obviously seeing what happened to Penn State this last weekend. I don't know. Is Oregon that good? They are, but are they? I'm going Indiana. I'm going Indiana. Give me the over, and it's going to be a barn burner of a game Saturday at 3:30. It's also could be an Oregon splattering. Wouldn't be shocked either way.
I have a feeling this is going to be one of those games where you turn it on and it's
Give me Indiana. It
45
could
to
be
7.
Oklahoma State all over again. It could be. I don't think that's going to happen though. I think Indiana might be for it.
Josh.
I've got Indiana going into Oregon and covering, but Oregon's going to win.
I was about to say, wow.
And the over.
Just saying. UCLA just splattered Penn State. It took double overtimes for Oregon to beat Penn State. Saying.
At Penn State during the whiteout. Let's make sure all the information is out there.
That's true, but the crowd's probably the only reason why they were even in that game.
Probably. All right. I'm taking Oregon money line. Indiana covers barely, and I'm taking the over.
I just want a quick reminder for you guys that Indiana did beat 17 ranked Illinois 63-10.
1,000.
Just want to remind you, like
stop acting like a scrub going up to Eugene.
Yeah. Just as a reminder to the audience.
I get that, but there's a difference between the environment at Autzen and the environment in Champaign.
It was a home game anyways, but I'm just saying.
Whatever. Like there's a difference.
Indiana plays in the Big Ten. They've been in big environments. It's not going to really rattle them that much.
Yeah, okay.
It's not going to rattle them that much, man.
There's a difference.
They've been in big environments.
Indiana's not getting the big time games at Penn State, at Ohio State. They're not getting those big time prime time games. They just aren't. Most of the time, neither is Nebraska or Wisconsin. Those schools just aren't getting them. And you're going to Kinnick? Okay, come on. Go wave and sit the fuck down.
But they still are in the Big Ten, which means they still go to these schools year in and year out.
You play at Maryland? Congratulations. You play at Maryland?
Been in the playoff last year.
Maryland finally found a quarterback.
You play at Maryland? You play at Rutgers?
I completely
cool, dude. So cool.
Indiana's not going to go over there and be like, oh my God, Autzen Stadium. I've never been in an environment like this. It's not how
I'm not saying that they are, but like I don't know, man. I don't really care.
This has been one of the most combative episodes we've had.
Honestly, I just want to. I've been in the mood all week to fight somebody, and I'm taking it out on y'all. I haven't been able to say the things that I want to say to people, so I'm just taking it out on this podcast to the two of you. And the people listening at home, the people driving in their cars, whenever they're listening to this, they're going to have to deal with it. I'm sorry. Shoot me. Honestly, you'd probably be doing us both a favor.
And on that note,
Ryan's game of the week. East Carolina, I guess it's really the first game of the week, really, but East Carolina making the road trip down to MIS, Louis Armstrong International Airport. to take on Tulane Green Wave. Shout out to Ashbrook High School, the only copycat Green Wave that I know of. I believe they still are undefeated.
My favorite is the one that has the gold, like the Tulsa colors, but the Green Wave mascot. There's one out there.
Mm.
I'm pretty sure. That's my favorite. That should be the trophy.
Is that high school logo?
It's that high school's logo.
ECU's plus 195 outright, 6.5-point dog. Tulane minus 238 as the favorite. Over-under is currently at 53.5. I'm going to go last.
Oh. Artie. I want to hear what you say so I can fight you on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna say ECU covers, but ECU loses. I think this is the first time all year ECU lost, but I do think it's gonna be ECU loss, and I hope I'm wrong on Friday morning.
I'm not gonna. I don't think that I'm gonna do much to the people that say that I'm the most pessimistic person around. I think I'm gonna take the over. I'm gonna take Tulane to win, and I think I'm taking Tulane to cover.
Wow.
Like I don't feel good about it.
Well, of course not. We're an ECU podcast,
but
I'm not gonna sit here and lie to the people.
Part of me is hoping that, like, I always take ECU. I'm hoping for some reverse psychology this week.
Yes.
And I'm hoping that somebody will take this and clip it and be like, Jared, you're an absolute idiot.
Play this in the locker room. Even the people that report on you don't believe you. Play it
Josh, I'll send you Coach Harrell's number. You can text it to him after you clip it.
Yeah, put that on me. You know, I did something extremely similar with the Army game as my reverse psychology. And I believe it worked. I believe it did work. I believe that my words got to the locker room, however they got there. And lit a little fire in that first quarter. Not sure where it went, but this game is sponsored by Standard Mortgage down there in good old New Orleans. 100 years anniversary this year. Put your mortgage down on this one, all right? ECU winning outright and the over. That's what I've got to say. ECU's rushing defense holds Tulane to less rushing yards than ECU produces on offense. And we win this game.
This is where I get FOMO. I get FOMO because I want to be the one that picks them. I want to be like, I don't like, at no point am I ever pulling against them.
Jared's like a little kid in the corner. That should have been me.
But I am doing it out of the goodness of my heart to put myself on this broadcast and say that they're not going to do it. Guys, deep down, I want them to fucking do it.
I said they weren't going to do it against Army, and I didn't give the caveat that I wanted them to. I just said they weren't going to. I'm saying they will.
Yeah,
right here, right now.
You're saying they're going to do.
I'm saying they're doing it.
Josh, I need you to say. I need you to say they're not going to do it. It makes this clip a lot better.
No. what makes this clip great, right? What makes this clip
what's done is done, and we're live too, so you ain't no taking back.
Is that I am saying Thursday night in Uptown. Come on now, night of the Boneyard, much better slogan. Free T-shirts to the first 1,000 students. Come on now, At ECU, it'd be all 10,000 students that requested a ticket would get their free shirt.
Would it?
I'm just saying.
I mean, they probably wouldn't get in until about midway through the second quarter.
And half the shirts would be taken up by adults who had already walked through that section.
They'll show up, they take their pictures, and then they would leave.
Speaking of, get your Night at the Boneyard shirts. They're pretty cool.
They're pretty sick. Wish I could be there. Wish I could be there.
But yeah.
And if you can't get a Night of the Boneyard shirt, get you a Rowback hoodie. The black hoodies, absolute fire. 20% off at rowback.com. Use promo code Boneyard20. Guys, good episode. I don't want to fight you, Artie. I love you. I really do. You're my best friend. But I could still kick your ass.
Okay.
No,
look, brother, you live 10 minutes away. Anytime you want to test that theory.
We can go brawl right now. Don't wake up the kid.
You want to test that theory, brother. I love you too.
I feel like it'd be a good scrap.
Be a good scrap.
You got size. I got the size. You got the probably endurance, agility. But don't let me catch you. Do not let me catch you. I got you then. All right. Thank you to everybody that's been listening to us for the last hour and 40 minutes. Pirate Nation, we love you. We'll be back next week. Make sure you follow us on all our social media platforms at Boneyard Podcast, at the Boneyard Podcast on TikTok. Make sure you subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast, Apple, Spotify, whatever. Subscribe. Leave us a 5-star review. Leave a comment. I love seeing those comments pop up. And then subscribe on YouTube. If you don't, Artemis, what should they do?
Plank.
Hit that notification bell. Give us a thumbs up. And leave us a comment. We want more engagement on these things. Leave us a comment. And, yeah. With that said, Josh, did you want to play your clip now or is it playing at the end?
At the end. Go ahead and roll it out.
All right. Artie, let's get the hell out of here.
Hey, as always, Pirate Nation, support on Thursday night. Watch this game. Hopefully we get a nice upset in New Orleans. But as always, wash your hands, wash your butts. Deuce.
Go damn Pirates.